Are you tired of opening a completely blank canvas?
Beat.
You sit there exhausted.
Yeah, staring at that blank white screen.
You pick your fonts from scratch again. You re-upload the exact same logo for the 5th time this week. And you do all this manual labor just to get a handful of basic social media posts.
It's exhausting. You pour hours into the screen. Barely anything comes out the other side.
And then the whole grueling cycle just starts over on Monday. Beat. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're exploring a radically different way to work. We're looking at a step-by-step blueprint from our sources. We are going to build a custom AI design system.
Using Claude and Canva specifically.
Right. And the promise here is massive. You can generate 32 pieces of content in the time it usually takes to make one.
Yeah, which is incredibly exciting. It completely flips the traditional creative workflow upside down.
It really does. But let's pause and unpack this foundation first. Beat. What exactly does an AI design system look like in practice?
Well, what's fascinating here is what it isn't. It is absolutely not a replacement for you. It's a collaboration. You aren't just handing the keys over and letting a computer do all your thinking.
You're building a bridge between your initial ideas and the finished product.
Exactly. Our source text describes this specific system as a team of 3. It's the perfect way to visualize it.
Let's break that team down.
Sure. So Canva acts as your hands. It handles the actual drawing. It manages the layout. It does all the visual heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Then Claude steps in as your highly intelligent assistant. It remembers your specific brand rules. It generates fresh ideas.
It keeps your tone consistent across platforms.
Right. And the crucial third member of that team,
That's you.
that's you. You are the boss. You make the final call on everything.
It's like stacking Lego blocks of data where you just guide the build.
That is a great analogy. Think of it like being an architect directing a skilled construction crew. You aren't swinging the hammer anymore. You're ensuring the building matches the blueprint.
2-sec silence. I hear that. But I have to ask, does this system take away the creative intuition of the designer?
Not at all. Think about the friction in your current daily process.
Staring at blank pages.
Exactly. Staring at blank pages kills creativity. When you remove that tedious friction, you actually free up your intuition. The AI handles the repetitive, boring work. You get to focus entirely on the actual message.
Okay, so to make sure I'm tracking.
Right.
The AI handles the heavy lifting, but you maintain creative control.
Precisely. You shift your role from a tired pixel pusher to a true creative director.
I really like that framing. Let's get into the mechanics. Why is this trio actually better than just designing manually? What's the core advantage?
Manual design has a fatal flaw that we usually ignore. It relies dangerously on human memory.
And our memory is incredibly fragile.
Very fragile. When you design manually every day, you constantly ask yourself the same tiny questions.
Like what?
Like, what was that exact shade of blue again? Which font weight did I use on last week's carousel?
Or where exactly did the logo sit in the bottom corner?
Right, and one small slip changes the entire vibe.
Yeah.
Your brand's signature red gets a little too dark. The headline font is suddenly slightly too thin.
Before you know it, your brand looks like 3 completely different people.
It feels chaotic. An AI design system removes that daily guesswork entirely. Plus, there's a huge benefit for those inevitable dry days.
We all have those days. The inspiration well is just totally empty.
Absolutely. On those days, you don't stare at a blank page. You ask Claude to scan your brand context. It can immediately suggest 10 tailored content topics based specifically on your niche. It already knows your tone.
It won't throw random, unhelpful ideas at you.
Exactly.
Wait, let me push back here for a second. Beat. Isn't setting up this system just as much work as manual design?
It's a lot of work up front, yeah. But you only do it once. You
Right.
build the machine, and then the machine runs.
Got it. You do the hard setup once, then everything becomes effortlessly repeatable.
Exactly. It creates a powerful momentum that manual work just cannot match.
Okay, so to escape this manual grind, we have to actually build that foundation.
Yes. We start our building process over in Canva. Specifically, we use Canva's Brand Kit.
The source text positions this as the ultimate backbone of the system.
It really is. If you get this specific step right, everything else down the line feels almost automatic.
But people make a massive mistake right here.
They do. They try to do way too much. They overcomplicate the whole thing.
They overload the brand kit.
Yeah. They throw in 10 different accent colors, 5 different fonts for every possible occasion, dozens of varied layout options.
It looks incredibly thorough on paper.
But in practice, it just creates instant decision fatigue.
It defeats the purpose of simplifying. Our source actually outlines a very lean brand kit.
Very lean. It recommends just 3 to 5 core colors, and you absolutely need their exact hex codes.
Let's define that. A hex code is a 6-character label telling screens exact colors.
Perfect definition. It guarantees precision. So you lock in those exact colors. Then you choose just 2 fonts. One bold font for your main headlines. One highly readable font for your body text.
What about the visual branding itself? The logos?
Keep it simple. Just 3 versions of your logo. Full color, pure white, and pure black.
Add a handful of commonly used icons, and you're done.
Completely done.
Beat. This feels a bit rigid, honestly. Why limit it to just 2 fonts and a few colors?
Because consistency breeds recognition in a wildly crowded feed. Think about your favorite creators.
You know it's their post before you even read their name.
Right. If your visual style drastically changes every single day, people just scroll right past you.
Visual familiarity builds deep trust.
Exactly.
Constraints breed speed. Fewer choices mean instant brand recognition.
That's the ultimate goal. You lock those decisions in once and the system applies them automatically.
Here's where this whole concept gets really interesting. Beat. A pristine brand kit sitting in Canva is useless if the AI can't see it.
Right. This is the massive bottleneck where most people give up.
They use Claude and Canva as completely isolated tools.
Bouncing back and forth between a dozen open browser tabs.
It's a nightmare.
They download files to their desktop. They drag and drop them into the chat. They lose so much time.
We have to break that wall down. We need to link the tools.
Yes. And it's surprisingly simple. You connect Canva directly inside Claude's interface.
It literally takes 2 minutes.
You find the connectors or tools section inside your Claude settings. You search for Canva, you click connect.
And then the real magic happens.
It truly is magic. Claude can now see your active designs in real time.
The source gives a brilliant example prompt to test this.
Right.
Now, a prompt is typed instructions telling an AI exactly what to do. You can type find my last Instagram post and suggest how to improve it visually.
And it actually opens the file. It looks at the actual post layout.
2 seconds silence. I have a vulnerable admission to make here.
Oh.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself when bouncing between a million browser tabs.
Whoa, yeah. Prompt drift is brutal.
For those unaware, prompt drift is when AI slowly forgets original instructions over time. It drives me crazy.
It is the absolute worst feeling. You spend 20 minutes correcting it.
Yeah.
Connecting the tools directly solves that entirely. The context and the canvas live in one unified space.
But does this connection actually stop the AI from giving generic advice?
It changes the entire paradigm. The AI is no longer guessing based on your vague text descriptions.
It looks straight at your actual visual layout.
Exactly.
Yes, it edits based on actual sight, not blind guesses.
The workflow finally becomes truly integrated.
Okay, let's trace our steps. Connecting the tools gives Claude eyes. But now we must give it a brain.
We have to set the hard rules of engagement.
The source text dives deep into the senior brand strategist prompt.
This step is completely non-negotiable. You can never just open a fresh chat window and say, hi, make me a cool post today.
That's like hiring a brand new employee and giving them zero briefing.
It's a recipe for disaster. Think of this step like handing a world-class sous chef your grandmother's meticulously handwritten recipe book.
If you just tell them to make spaghetti, you get a basic pasta dish.
Right. But if you hand them the exact rule book, you get your precise signature dish scaled up flawlessly.
So you assign Claude a very specific role immediately.
You do. You explicitly type, I want you to act as my senior brand strategist.
You clearly tell it what your specific business does.
You define your unique tone of voice. You define your visual style.
The source mentions uploading your brand guidelines as a PDF.
Or, if you don't have that, just explicitly typing the rules out.
And you must be painfully specific here.
Very. You type things like, we never ever use neon green.
Our main headlines are always in bold.
We only use real, candid photography, absolutely no cartoon illustrations.
What if I just ask it to make a post without this prompt?
Then you'll get a design that could belong to literally any generic corporation on Earth. It will be incredibly boring.
You get generic output. Clarity up front prevents endless corrections later.
It is the beating heart of a well-built system.
Let's take a brief moment here. Beat. Mid-roll sponsor Reed. Welcome back to the deep dive.
We were just unpacking how to set the strict rules for Claude using that strategist prompt.
Right, But words alone are never enough when we're talking about pure visual design.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make a crucial transition. We move from telling Claude our rules to actually showing it our style.
Because language is entirely subjective.
Right.
If I say clean and minimal, that means something completely different to a tech startup than it does to a boutique bakery.
So we have to establish what the text calls a visual DNA.
Yes. You start by becoming a collector. You grab screenshots of designs you genuinely admire.
It could be a brilliant post from a competitor.
Or a stunning layout you found scrolling Pinterest. You take those screenshots and upload those images directly into your Claude chat.
And you ask the AI to deeply analyze them.
You prompt it, look closely at these images. What specific visual elements do they all have in common?
Structurally, why do they look so good to the human eye?
Exactly. Claude then extracts the underlying visual DNA from those varied images.
It might notice a heavy reliance on empty, negative space.
Or it might notice that the text is always firmly anchored in the bottom left corner rather than centered.
2-sec silence.
Yes.
But honestly, can't we just type clean and minimal and get the same result?
You really can't. The AI's internal model will interpret those two words in 100 wildly different ways depending on its training data.
That makes sense. Words are subjective. Images give the AI a precise visual map.
It creates a shared objective visual language. It completely eliminates the guesswork.
So we're making progress. Claude now fully understands our visual DNA, beat feed. How do we actually start making the physical posts?
The source outlines two distinct paths you can take here, the manual path and the template path.
Let's break those down, starting with the manual approach.
The manual path gives you total granular control over every pixel. Claude gives you exact mathematical measurements. It might tell you, add an 8-pixel thick red rectangle as an accent stripe exactly 2 inches from the top.
Then you physically build that yourself over in Canva.
Right. It clearly takes much longer, but you learn the mechanics of the design.
But then there is the highly recommended template path.
This is built purely for speed. Claude analyzes your DNA and tells you what specific pre-built Canva template to search for.
It'll say, go to Canva and search for minimalist webinar.
Exactly. Our source heavily pushes this template path if you want to actually achieve scale.
It is absolutely the best way to hit that crazy 32 post goal.
Yeah.
Does the template path risk making our brand look exactly like everyone else's?
It's a very valid fear. But the answer is no, provided you heavily customize it immediately.
Only if you leave the default settings, which we won't do.
Right. Which brings us smoothly to the absolute most important execution step in the entire process.
Building the ultimate master post.
Yes. To guarantee we don't look like generic template users, we construct a flawless master design.
This is the single foundational post that every other piece will be derived from.
The source gives a very strict 3-step customization process for transforming that chosen template.
Step 1 is brutal. You swap every single color on that template to your specific brand kit.
You leave absolutely 0 default colors behind.
Step 2, you change all the default text to your designated brand fonts.
And step 3 is where it comes alive. You upload your own specific high-quality photos.
And if your photo happens to have a really messy, distracting background,
you use Canva's built-in background remover tool before you place it in the frame.
Those 3 simple steps alone, you take the template entirely.
It genuinely feels like yours now. But you still aren't fully done yet.
Right.
You take a quick screenshot of this newly customized template. You send that image right back to Claude for a rigorous design review.
You explicitly ask Claude, does this updated design accurately follow our established brand rules?
Is there enough breathing room between the headline text and the visual edges?
Claude acts like a senior art director.
It will suggest tiny, crucial tweaks. Move the logo up by 10 pixels.
Or add slightly more negative space around the main portrait.
Beat. Why rely on Claude for the final design review? I can see it. Because human eyes inevitably get tired. We become blind to small, jarring inconsistencies when we stare at a glowing screen for too long.
That happens to me all the time. It catches the tiny spacing details that make designs look expensive.
Exactly. It elevates the whole aesthetic. Once you are completely happy, this specific file becomes your permanent master template.
We finally have one perfect post. Beat. Now, we leverage Canva's built-in AI tools to multiply it.
This is where the sheer scale happens. Canva has integrated some truly incredible tools recently.
Like Magic Media.
Yeah, Magic Media is fantastic. It's a robust text-to-image generator. And the best part is, Claude can even write the highly detailed prompt for you to paste into it.
Then there is the Magic Write tool. It acts as an instant copywriter to fix boring headlines.
Magic Eraser effortlessly cleans up messy elements in your photos.
A magic grab literally lets you cleanly pull the subject out of an image and move them around.
But the absolute, undisputed star of this entire system is Magic Resize, or Magic Switch, depending on your version.
It is the ultimate, undeniable time saver. Let's explain how this actually works under the hood.
Sure.
It takes that one master template we just spent time perfecting, and with one single click, it turns it into a tall vertical Instagram story.
Then a wide LinkedIn post.
Then a square Facebook ad. Instantly.
It is genuinely mind-blowing to watch it happen live.
Do these tools actually understand the context of the different platforms? Or do they just lazily stretch the image out?
They really understand the context. They use advanced computer vision to identify the actual focal points of your design.
They know where a human face is, so they don't awkwardly crop it in half.
Right.
They automatically rearrange elements to perfectly fit each new size.
It scales your meticulously built system from one single post to dozens, completely effortlessly.
So let's step back. Beat. What does this all mean?
All the disparate pieces are finally locked into place.
We have the lean brand kit. We have the direct tool connection.
We established the rules. We mapped the visual DNA.
We perfected the master template.
Now we finally execute the primary goal. We generate 32 distinct posts in just 10 minutes of work.
We deploy a massive, highly structured master prompt.
We ask Claude to assume its role as our senior content strategist and run the full sequence.
Crucially, you don't ask for just one post at a time.
You ask for the entire cascading sequence all at once.
Let's walk through this cascade.
First, you ask it to write 5 actionable tips for a multi-slide carousel.
Second, you tell it to write the accompanying Instagram story caption to tease that carousel.
Third, you ask it to pull 3 famous quotes related to the topic.
Fourth, you tell it to adapt the tone of the whole concept specifically for professional LinkedIn audience.
Fifth, write punchy headlines for a YouTube thumbnail and Facebook ads.
Sixth, adapt the core text into short bursts for X, Threads, and Reddit text. 2-sec silence. Whoa. Just imagine scaling one single idea into 32 different formats in seconds.
It is a complete paradigm shift for creators. You take the exact same core visual and intellectual idea and deploy it natively across every single platform seamlessly.
Wait, a vital question here. Will this prompt work if I skipped the earlier setup steps?
Absolutely not. It will fail completely and spectacularly.
No. Without your visual DNA trained first, the output is useless.
It would just generate a chaotic wall of generic noise. The disciplined setup is exactly what makes the massive scale possible later.
If we pull back and connect this to the bigger picture, the core message of this deep dive isn't really about learning how to click buttons.
Not at all. Ultimately, building this intricate system gives you your precious free time back.
It fundamentally shifts your professional identity.
Exactly. You are no longer just a tired pixel pusher doing tedious, repetitive daily tasks. You elevate yourself to a creative director who manages a highly efficient system.
Before we wrap, the source does include a very quick FAQ section we should touch on.
Oh, right.
It highly recommends upgrading to Canva Pro to unlock the full power of features like the brand kit and that incredible Magic Resize tool.
It is definitely a required investment if you are truly serious about implementing the system at scale.
And we should strongly reiterate one final point from the text.
Human beings must always remain the final authoritative editor.
Always. You have to be the one to catch weird AI hallucinations, strange visual artifacts, or subtle factual errors before hitting publish.
Exactly. The AI is your brilliant assistant, not your total replacement.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Beat. If building this entire system today feels overwhelming, just start incredibly small.
Open up Claude this afternoon and simply ask it to help you pick 3 core brand colors.
That is step 1, 2-sec silence. Before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We started this hour by talking about the deep exhaustion of staring at that blank canvas, ground down by the slow, manual process.
The endless grind.
But if a machine can now execute 32 flawless variations of your idea in 10 minutes, what are you going to do with all that newly reclaimed mental space to dream up your next big idea?